I've been at Advent Health for 45 years, and it started out after working on a med-surg floor. I went to critical care internship program, and while in that program I got exposed to cardiology. As I was rounding in the hospital with my colleague, and we kept finding folks that had heart failure, had heart conditions, and we would take care of them. They would be discharged, and then they would end up coming back.
These uninsured patients had no place to go to once they were discharged from the hospital. They didn't have a care provider, particularly a cardiac care provider.
Our VP at the time came to us and said, "You want to do something about this, you have 2 weeks to write a grant." And the next thing you know, we were approved and ready to open a clinic.
A benefactor, Trina Hidalgo, provided resources, and it started out modest at first, and it was more of a heart failure clinic. As I was coming on board, it was transitioning more to a heart care. We were dealing with other things besides congestive heart failure.
I got invited by Patricia to visit the cardiovascular surgery unit here, and then after we did that tour, then she took us over to the Trina Hidalgo Heart Care Center. Then after the tour, we got to sit down in the conference room. It was just a special passion that came out with Cindy and her team. And I remember I asked Cindy, I said, Cindy, we're a contracting company. I said, how can we help? We can build a wall, we can move walls, we can add doors, how can we help? And she said, well, what we really need is an EKG machine. So I said, well, out of curiosity, I said, how much does an EKG machine cost? She said about $15,000. And I said, somehow, some way, before the end of the year, we're going to make sure you get an EKG machine. And so the idea came about putting together a clay chute, and so that was how it came about. And we had our first clay chute, and we were aiming to raise $15,000. We raised $20,000.
And so they have been so supportive for us at Batson Cook of providing this clay chute every year. And it is making such a difference in the patients. We get to see the patients and all the impact.
The doors are open, and when they come in, they are treated with incredible dignity and incredible amount of compassion and care. That is all really cascaded from just the culture that Cindy creates.
Without the Trina Hidalgo Heart Care Center, I probably would not still be alive, because I would not have been able to get the care that they sponsor for people who were in my financial situation. I don't think I could receive any better care than I'm receiving. I don't think there could be a better person around, even past people that have retired and left here. Cindy's still here, that's my girl.
Cindy is an amazing person. Her vision of knowing that this clinic was necessary, the fact that there was a gap in care in our community, you combine that with her clinical knowledge of cardiology, 45 years of caring for patients, that's an amazing combination.
She embodies the compassion of Christ, and you experience it when you meet her. And it'll only be until she gets to heaven that she really gets to see how many individuals her and her team have impacted over the years.
So the clay chute has raised over $800,000, and that has purchased a lot of things that have helped our patients. One of them is the cardiac event monitors to find out if people have arrhythmias. Do they need a blood thinner? Do they need a pacemaker? We have CPAP machines for patients that have heart failure. That's so important. We see 20 to 25 new patients a month, besides the 900 we have in our practice. And so that's impacting these folks.
I think it's going to continue on strong. I think we're going to continue to grow. I think we're going to continue to always be able to tie back the proceeds to specific needs that the care center is going to have.
Without philanthropy, this clinic would not exist. There's so many things that we have depended on. The part of the clinic building, part of the EKGs, some of the medications, the transportation, offerings for bus passes and those type of things. And every piece of that matters, because without it, we can't exist. We can't help the people we're helping. It's been a wonderful journey.